Hey everybody. Ooh, let me grab the microphone. There we go. How do I sound? Hey everybody. I was chatting over Facebook with my buddy Kyle Whittington, who has his own channel linked below. It's a Catholic channel, but we're friends. We're cool. And he watched my Brian Holdsworth videos. Brian Holdsworth left me a comment. I responded in a video. Brian never responded to my comment or the video, but unbeknownst to me, he made a Facebook post. Kyle shared that Facebook post with me and said, this might be Brian responding to you, just not to you, but look at the timing and look at the content, and it's kind of a weird coincidence if he's not thinking about you while he's writing it. So, Brian, if you were thinking about me, cool. I'm going to respond. I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the presentation mode and just give a brief timeline of the events for anybody who hasn't seen all these videos. And then I'm just going to respond to you, Brian. And I want to talk more to you, too. I think it'd be super cool to have a conversation. Unrecorded if you don't want it to be. But I just think that'd be cool because this is a really fun topic. And I think that'd be awesome. All right, here we go. So, quick timeline of events. I started my channel on the 29th of August. I posted 2 videos on the same day to start my channel. The first was like a 10-second clip of me shredding with Brian Holdsworth. Brian did a video on the band Ghost a while ago. Turns out he used to be a bit of a metalhead. He was playing some Metallica riffs. I was like, you know what? I'm going to solo over one of the Metallica riffs. I'm not a particularly good guitar player, but I'm good enough that, I figured out the key of the song and I was able just to play a quick little solo over it. So I did that. It was fun. And I tagged Brian in it. I think that's the important part. I tagged Brian in this video. Then, sorry about that. Then I came out with this video, my introduction, introduction to the non-traditional Catholic. And I just talked about my past, why I'm making the channel, what are my current beliefs, kind of that kind of deal. Well, apparently, when I tagged Brian in the Shredding with Brian Holdsworth video, Brian watched my introduction and he left a comment. So the same day that I posted those 2 videos, like that's the same day. And then, 2 weeks later, Brian leaves me a comment. Here it is. I made a whole video addressing it. I left him a comment below. You can see that there. Brian never responded to my comment, and that's fine. Brian is so much bigger than me. He does not need to respond to me. Not publicly. He doesn't need to respond to me at all. It would just be cool if he did. But so I responded, and because I need content, right, I went ahead and I made a response in video format, and I tagged him again. Brian Holdsworth commented on my video, my non-traditional response. So, and then that's it. That was on the 14th, which was last week. It was, a little over a week ago at this point. 8 days ago. Today's the 22nd. So, and that's it. That's where it ended. But on September 19th, 5 days after I post my video, in which I did tag him, Brian leaves this Facebook post. So, and just for some context, you can look that morality, its existence, the objectivity or subjectivity thereof was a big topic of, not that big of a topic, but that's what Brian chose to focus on in my introduction video. So we had a back and forth about that. I addressed my stance on morality in this video, and then Brian makes a Facebook post about morality. He says, if right and wrong are only how we feel about something, then there is never a reason to communicate that to somebody else, because they will already have their own moral evaluation based on their subjective feelings. Your moral evaluation is entirely irrelevant to them unless you're trying to communicate an understanding that should be mutual. But that can only be the case if there is something external to us both which is worth understanding, which can only be objective morality. So, as you can imagine, I have a lot to say about that. But first, I didn't see this post on the 19th. It wasn't until my buddy Kyle Whittington showed me this Facebook post today on the 22nd that I found out about it. So I figured today I'm going to make a quick little response video. I'm going to tag Brian again, see if he wants to talk. And hey, if he doesn't, then that's just another video I get to post. So Brian says if right and wrong are only about how we feel about something, then there's never a reason to communicate that to somebody else because they'll already have their own moral evaluation based on their subjective feelings. Never a reason, Brian? Never? I mean, I can think of one good reason to communicate your feelings. Because somebody else might care about you. What if you say to somebody, hey, I'm going to communicate something that I feel is wrong because I want you to change the way that you act. And if they care about you, they might change the way that they act. Hey, I don't like it when you call me Four Eyes because I wear glasses. I know that you think that you're just kidding, but it actually kind of makes me feel bad. Would you please stop? If that person cares about me, they probably will stop. And we don't have to agree about the objective rightness or the objective wrongness of calling somebody a Four Eyes. We can just share respect for each other. And if that person does respect me, and then I do ask them, if I do communicate how I feel about something, right here, Brian says that if right and wrong are only how we feel about something, then there's never a reason to communicate that. No, there is a reason, because you want somebody to change the way that they act. That's just one reason off the top of my head. Never is a really strong word, Brian. I think you need to, think about this a little bit more and maybe dial back the confidence with which you say things, maybe? I don't know. Next, he says, your moral evaluation is entirely irrelevant to them unless you're trying to communicate about an understanding that should be mutual. I actually mostly agree with this. Moral evaluation is entirely irrelevant to most people, most of the time. Why? Because people don't agree about morality. Here's an excellent example. Catholics must believe, the church has defined that gay marriage is wrong. So Catholics, at least Catholics in good faith, are supposed to believe that gay marriage is immoral. Gay, procreation is immoral, according to the Catholic Church. Well, if you think that gay marriage is immoral, and I don't, and then you just tell me, hey, gay marriage is immoral, I'm going to be like, no, it's not. If we don't agree, it's kind of irrelevant what you think is moral and immoral. The only thing I'm going to pick on in this particular phrase right here is the word should. You're trying to communicate an understanding that should be mutual. Is Brian kind of grabbing an ought from not even an is? I guess he's just saying there's just this underlying assumption that morals should be mutual. Morals have never been mutual. Morals have changed over time throughout cultures. Even the church's stance on morality has changed. The early church thought that interest on loans was wrong. And the church doesn't feel that way anymore. Interest on loans is not wrong. There are documents signed by popes that talk about how slavery is not an insult to the human person. Slavery itself is fine. I strongly suspect that Pope Francis does not feel that way. I can't list a document in which Pope Francis specifically said, hey, by the way, slavery is an insult to the human person. But you get my idea. Slavery and interest on loans are both great examples of morality that's changed over time. So morality has never been perfectly mutual. Nobody's ever agreed on those kinds of things. And maybe you want to argue that they should be. I wish more people did agree, but I wish that they agreed with me, right? And you wish that they agreed with you. So there's no easy way to parse this. Last sentence, Brian says, but that can only be the case if there's something external to us both, which is worth understanding, which can only be objective morality. No, that is not the case. There can be something external to both of us worth understanding that isn't objective morality. You and I can both agree. Let's say that we want to agree that we should minimize human suffering. And then we both work towards that end. Now there's something external to us that we can we can try to objectively measure stuff against the, human suffering. Maybe it's difficult to objectively measure it, but you get my idea. That's external to us, and that's not objective morality. So, Brian, there is things external to you that can be things other than objective morality. So, that's about it. There's a really good essay that I'm going to link to, and it's called something like Gastronomic Realism. Like a play on objective morality or something like that, or a play on moral realism, or it's supposed to be like a reductio ad absurdity about moral realism, pretty much saying that if all of the same arguments that apply to morality can also be applied to food, then it seems like anyone who argues for moral realism also needs to argue for like gastronomic realism, where like ice cream isn't just better than broccoli, like subjectively, like ice cream is better objectively compared to spinach. And so I think that essay does a really good job at and that honestly, that essay is kind of the thing that like really made me a moral anti-realist. So I'm gonna drop that essay in the table in the comments below. I think it's worth checking out if you're a moral realist. Read it and let me know why you disagree. If you're Brian Holdsworth, shoot me a message, man. I'd love to talk to you. And if you're anybody else, thanks for watching. And until next time.